सरलाई आफ्नो इजी अनुसार हामी गफ चाहिँ नेपालीमै गरिरहेछौँ के अरे अब सरलाई आफ्नो इजिनेस अनुसार गरौँ केही कुनै छैन
Okay, thank you, sir. So could I start, sir?
Please, sure.
Okay, so respected course facilitator Devram sir and Jagat sir, and today I am going to present on curriculum in the 21st century. For that opportunity, I would like to thank, and I would like to especially I have the warm honor to my respected guru. And here I'm going to talk about the curriculum in the 21st century. This means how the curriculum is going on to the phases, just like how the curriculum is in the developmental phases. So that basically I focus my presentation towards the developmental approaches and the approaches that are in the digital ages or in the digital phases one. So at the beginning I would like to say something about the concept of the curriculum, but I think the fonts are small. Sorry for that one. I put the heavy content here, that's why it is in small fonts one. I need to put these into 2 slides. That's my weakness. Sorry for that one. Especially in 21st century, the curriculum is regarded as the updated content and to meet the demands of the 21st century curriculum. Especially we know that the 21st century curriculum is the developed curriculum and that is connected with different innovative patterns. That's why it is the updated content that must meet the requirement of the current need of the learners. Similarly, it is connected with the digital technologies and it includes the course management systems, different voice tools, video conferencing, internet applications, web pages, wikis, online journals, videos, assessments, softwares, and different countless others and emerging day wisely. This means this is connected with the curriculum of the 21st century. It's connected with the digital innovations or digital development. That's why very interesting point I found for the case of the 21st century curriculum, that is the shift from the factory mode to the innovative models. So like in the past, like traditional curriculum may be called as the factory model curriculum because that was designed on the basis of top-down approaches, and nowadays it is going from the bottom-up approaches one. That's why it is also regarded to the innovative models as regarding to the learner's need and interest. Next thing is this is connected with the interacting with the technology and need knowledge to be delivered in a way that will and that what we use in our day-to-day life also. So it is dependent on computers and other communication devices, and this point also I think this is repeated one that is incorporated by the points of digital technologies there one. So it considered the new trends. That means the developing trends and what, because day by day we can find different updating trends and we can find different sorts of the new innovations in the field of the curriculum and the other areas also that consider that trends. So and the next thing is that is for the case of designing the curriculum is for the need of the learners and the changing context. This means like the curriculum in the 21st century is actually depending upon the learner's need and interest, and it is in the basis of the learner's realities of the classroom situations and their societal recognition. So that like here that I got in the Google, that I got in the Google about the developmental pattern of the curriculums also and how it is going on from the 18th century to the 21st century one. Like from the age of the agricultural age to the conceptual age. Like the first part, it was called as the case of the agriculture, and it was just brought from the 18th century only. Then from agriculture to industrial ages, then after information ages, and then after in conceptual age. Nowadays we are in this conceptual frameworks, like in conceptual ages, by which we can be creator and we can be the user of that one, and this is just the evolvement of the curriculum features one. Then here I want to connect the 20th century scales, especially that is related with the core subjects, that is related with the subject matters, content, then after assessment. The provided content and its assessment is regarded in case of the 21st century dependent values one. So in this pattern we can especially think of knowing the content and evaluating the content, giving the students the content for learning, and the evaluator will evaluate the concept, and that is limited to that part one. Then in 21st century skills, really we can get the differences on that one. Like whenever we compare with this 20th century and 21st century, that is related with the content and the evaluation patterns, and here we can find out the life skills and 21st century content. And this 21st century content means that is the digital content, that is the updated content, and that is the content of the different areas, especially that is the interdisciplinary nature one. Similarly, there is another core subjects on learning and thinking skills, that is related with the critical abilities also. Then ICT literacy, that is another part, and 21st century assessment. So just like the subjects, the content and assessment was there in the 20th century, and in the development phases in 21st century, that goes towards not only to the subjects, not only to the subject matters, that goes towards the critical thinking, that goes towards the interdisciplinary parameters, that goes towards the life skills, and goes towards the ICT behaviors and ICT patterns also. So that the 21st century curriculum also focuses some of the core skills. Like in this 21st century, this core skill, especially I brought with the reference of the British Council's program 1. That's why this is also one of the parameter to determine the curriculum in case of the 21st century development. So that focuses toward the 6 different points, 6 different core skills. Like the first one is the digital literacy. That means whenever we are determining or whenever we are designing the curriculum, we have to think about the digital literacy. And digital patterns must be focused, so like ICT oriented activities or these different things. Just like we can give the example that we are doing now. Like our curriculum is wholly digitalized, and we are communicating from here to here, like we are from the different places, like someone from Kathmandu, someone from like Sindhupalchok, someone from Surkhet, and we are from the different places but having togetherness for the case of delivering units and for the case of getting ideas. That's why digital literacy is known as one of the basic skill of the 21st century as the core skills one, and the curriculum should be designed on the basis of that one, and that will be taken as one of the consideration. Next thing is critical thinking and problem solving. This is another important technique to design the curriculum, and we have to focus on the learners' critical thinking behaviors and problem solving behaviors. Like in the curriculum, if we design the curriculum on the basis of these critical thinking abilities, how can we develop our thoughts? Like this is also this is related with the thought developments. Like a reader or learner can think from his or beyond his level. Like the learner will be in own level, and he may think or she may think from B1 to his or her level 1, and that will be defined as the critical thinking one. That's why we have to let them chance to think themselves. And next thing is we have to design the curriculum as the cases they can solve the problem themselves, so that the problem solving will be regarded as the core skill for the designing of the curriculum in the 21st century. Next thing is creativity and imagination. We have to focus the creativity of the learners. Like simply I want to give one simple one real example that I get whenever I was getting data, or whenever I was talking with the school teachers and principal that when doing one assignment. Just like whenever I was, because I talked with the teachers of the private schools, and I also talked with the teacher of the government funded schools. Whenever I talked with the teachers in the government funded schools, they talked about the private school kills the creativity of the learners. They are just focusing on the learning parameters of knowing the content only, but they are not focusing towards knowing the context, though our curriculum is focusing towards the context. And the private schools are not realizing the content, that they are blaming each other. And like the private school teachers also talking, but private school teachers did not blame to the government funded school teachers, because I don't think why didn't they do that. But in cases with government funded schools, just like I met 4 teachers in the government funded schools, and I talked with them about the curriculum situation that is happening, and 2 teachers talk about this, like private schools kills the creativity of the learners. And then I asked them why how they are killing the creativity of the learners, and the one example they give, they provide them the heavy homework. And this homework, by the case of doing homework, and the homework is also in the written patterns, and they provide the written homework, and except that, like reading homework, other types of like project works, other things they do not care on. Just they are thinking of giving heavy loads to the students, giving heavy books to the students to read that one, to complete that one, to do the homework. Just they are not giving the homework to the children, but they are giving the homework to their parents. And then after I asked them the question, just like do your children study in the private school or in your government funded school? At the time they answer, I know this thing because my children are studying in the private school. Then after I asked them, so why? You know that the private schools are killing the creativity of your learners. Then why are you sending your children to that school? And why aren't you putting up? Because the policy of the government is we need to put your children to the government funded. Then at the time they did not believe themselves, and in the government funded school they questioned themselves. This means like this we need to develop the curriculum that focus to the creativity of the learners, and the learner can imagine the concept, just they can develop their thinking levels one. And next thing is we need to focus towards the students leadership. Just for these cases we have to activate the learners in learning in the 21st century, because the learners of the 21st century are known as the independent learners. And learners, there is the case of the discussion of the learner autonomy, by which students can take their leadership themselves. That's why we need to focus them towards developing their leadership skills, by which they can, like this leadership skill also help towards their critical thinking abilities and solving the problems one. That's why it is also need to be highly focused. And next core skill is collaboration and communication. Just this collaborative effort is known as one of the best effort in the cases of the different sectors. Like we have to develop the collaborative effort that the students can do, such as they can collaborate with the community members, they can collaborate with the family members, with the friends, with teachers, like with different society members. So they can collaborate to the concept one, like simply in the classroom they can have the group works and other things. So we need to introduce such terms of concept to develop the collaborative nature and skills also, and the communication also. Like they can communicate the ideas, especially here the communication means just sharing the ideas. We have to give them the chance of sharing ideas. Just in most of the schools, or in most of the cases, just we are not providing the opportunity to the learners to communicate the ideas, to share the ideas. Just we teachers go to the classroom, teach them. Just our mission is to complete the course. On time, because we need to give the clarification to the principal of the schools. That's why like we may not be providing the sufficient time for the communication one, but if though that is in the curriculum one. And that's why we need to think of this these ideas or these ideologies in developing of the curriculum in the 21st century. Next thing is the citizenship, and this citizenship is related with the global ideas. This is the global concept. Just like we are the citizen of the world, and this is the concept of the now, and we are not of the citizen of any country or any barriers one. That's why this citizenship talks about the global market. Like we have to make our learners efficient. Just like we have to develop, especially in my concept, that is originally my concept, that one we have to develop E factor and A factor of the learners. And to develop the A factor, especially the A factor relates about the factor of appropriacy. That means what? They need to be contextual. They can adjust to any situation. then they can behave accordingly to the situation, that is I connected towards the appropriacy level. The next E factor, we need to develop the E factor of the learners. This means the efficiency factor. We have to make our learners efficient to compete all over the world, to compete with the global market. That's why the concept of the curriculum of the 21st century must be connected with the global market, because nowadays the competition is widened, and that is in the globally realized one. So these core skills are the basis for the case of determining or designing the curriculum in the 21st century. That's why then after I think and I got also ideas about the perspectives of designing the curriculum in the 21st century. So what different perspectives are there? Especially here I got 3 perspectives about digital delivery, interest driven, and skills 2.0. This means in digital delivery that we are doing now, just recently what we are doing, that is the example of that one, digital delivery, and there may be online mode and there online applications or computer based teaching learning practices, because there is just we talk this digital delivery can focus to the core skill about this citizenship, about creativity, about collaboration effect, that one. That's why digital delivery is known as one of the perspectives whenever we are talking about the curriculum designing in the 21st century. Now the next very important thing is the interest driven. The curriculums and the curriculum should be designed on the basis of the interest of the learners. So it is the interest driven perspectives in designing of the curriculum. Next thing is skills 2.0. That skill 2.0 talk about this collaboration, innovation, critical thinking, and communication. That's why this skill 2.0 is one of the recent concept, and this concept is also just developing the learnability in the classroom and outside of the classroom. Just for example, like for instance, the moral education. But that example also I get. We teach moral education to the schools, but the moral education our students can answer what is just like but the honesty, what is different things related with the moral behaviors. Students can answer the questions, but they do not behave on the ideas. This may be lack of this collaborative effects, maybe lack of this critical thinking effects. That's why this skill make them able to apply their learning, apply whatever theorized, they can apply in their real life one, and that is that skill 2.0 is connected with the implementation value with the real life applications one. Then some philosophical traits that I found by Shiro, that I brought from the Shiro one. That is given in the 21st century and how it is going on. The upper part talks about the traditional models, and the down part that is talk about the contemporary influences of these contemporary models. Likewise here, in case of the philosophies, idealism and realism was in the past in the traditional influences, and there is perennialism, essentialism, like scholars, academic, social efficiency in curriculum philosophies and educational philosophies. Then in the contemporary influences that goes to just like major philosophies, well, pragmatism, existentialism, and postmodernism. Like in educational philosophy, there will be progressivism, reconstructivism, and the critical theory. Then in case of the curriculum philosophy, that will go towards the learner-centeredness and social reconstruction. And I think these ideas also were connected with the core skills and were connected with the perspectives, and that I brought from the traits from this Shiro. Then after in 21st century curriculum is especially the curriculums must have these features, but that is the features that I from my readings of the different materials that I conceptualize these features of the 21st century curriculum. That is, it should be active learning, and if the learners are collaborative. If learners, we provide different opportunity to the learners in real learning situations. Really, that will be the active learning, and it should focus to the active learning. Then focus to analysis, evaluation, and creation. Rather than remember, understand, and apply, this is especially focusing to the Bloom's taxonomy. Like the traditional concept is highly focusing towards this remembering skills, understanding skills, and skills of the application level. And the curriculum of the 21st century should be related with the analysis level, evaluation level, and the creation level. That as we focus in the core skills also. And then the curriculum should featurize towards the research behaviors, and it should be research oriented because we take something granted by others, but likely really in case of the real learning, we have to evaluate, we have to experiment ourselves, or we have to experience ourselves. That is the experience based, and that is the reflection based one. That's why this must be research oriented one. And outcome based, especially that that I talked about. I gave the example about this moral education, like knowing the moral education, they know what is that. They know the concept. They can give the answer correctly, but in case of applying in their behaviors, there might be problem. That's why if that happens, there is no outcome. So they can get the marks. They can be first in the class. They can get the good grades in the classroom. But in society or in the family, they get the 0 marks because they are not behaving what they need to behave. At the time, if the education, if the learning is not connected to the real behavior, this may not be outcome based. That is in my understanding. That's why to get the real outcome, really we need to change to the behavior, and then whatever they are doing or what they need to do must be well calculated with the theorizing concept. And next thing is the collaborative. Curriculum must be collaborative, and that we talked about this collaborative skills. That's why I think I want to skip the another point, that is student center, and this student center also related with the active learning one, and the curriculum need to be student center. That we talk, that depends on the student's need and interest. Next thing is integrated and interdisciplinary, and the curriculum must be integrated. That means we have to integrate one part with the other parts, just like because we are teaching our learners, we are making our learners capable into the different parts one. Just for example, in the field of the education, we want to be teacher. That's why we need to study about the philosophies of the education. We need to study about the curriculum analysis, curriculum prospectives. We need to study about the testing tools, testing devices. This means what we are connecting these different curriculums into the teacher education. Similarly, we need to integrate the curriculum features which may be relevant to the learners' perspectives in the real learning motives. And curriculum must be interdisciplinary. That means what? It must be interconnected to the different disciplines. Like this is because we are not in the disciplinary approach. We are in the interdisciplinary approach. That's why we need to address the different disciplines by which we can incorporate the concept of the different realities. And next thing is the curriculum not only to the interdisciplinary, curriculum must be multidisciplinary. This means we have to focus the different disciplines there. Like interdisciplinary, we can get the interrelationship among two or more than two disciplines. In multidisciplinary, we can get the ideas in the different disciplines. Just for one example, a student might think critically about English language, about Nepali language, about the mathematics, and about other things. So that's why we can connect the ideas from the different disciplines also. And then next thing is transdisciplinary. Like the curriculum should be theorized the transdisciplinary. That's why we can just connect one discipline to the other discipline. Just like we are from the one discipline. Likewise, we can, like for the students of the English students, like in the curriculum of the English, there may be matter of the society, there may be matter of the culture, there may be matter of the different things. That means we connected that social social parameter to the language is one. This means what we are meeting this different trans valuing ideas. That's why curriculum must be transdisciplinary one. And then the education or the curriculum should be related with the social responsibility. This means we are nowadays we are providing the context of developing the social behaviors, and socially learners need to be socially responsible, because the concept of the curriculum should go towards the community engagement programs one. So whatever we learn, that we need to go to our community and we can transfer to the community members, and then after we will be the responsible learners. Then it should focus on the developmental approaches. This means it is this developmental approaches here goes towards the continual ideas, means in regular improvement phases that must be in changing trends. We can change the curriculum if the curriculum if the curriculum doesn't match with the need and interest of the learners to the real context of the values, because the context of like nowadays in Nepal there are the 7 provinces. Like the concept of one province cannot be matched with the concept of the other province one. That's why we can change some of the realities there one. And this is connected with the developmental approach, and this developmental approach is usually focused towards the refining of the ideas according to the contextual values one. And it must be addressing the learner's need and expectation that we also talked. And next thing is learner diversity should to be concerned, because there are the learners of the different values. This means the learners may be from the different society, learners may be from the different linguistic levels, different linguistic backgrounds, or learners may be from different religions, different castes, different variability, or different there may be gender-based differences. Or this different base of the learners are in the classroom, are in the society, then we need to consider these different points also. That's why learner diversity should be well recognized. Teacher's role in the classroom, the curriculum should determine the teacher's role as the facilitator, guide, and the counselor in the classroom than to the director and more authoritative into the classroom one. Like similarly, it should focus on the life and the career skills, and this is also the need of this 21st century, and most of the ideas are connected with the life skills and the career skills. And curriculum should address the ICT based values, and virtual modes should be introduced in the curriculum. And learner autonomy, and the same thing is the need interest of the learners and learners independency. And critical thinking and problem solving, that is also we discussed that it also come into the core skills. And digital learning and assessment, that is like connected with ICT based, that is repeated, and but the assessment need to be connected with the digital values also. And the 21st century curriculum should need to focus toward the e-paradigms, that just I write here e-research, e-assessment, and similarly there may be other e-modes also. That's why it need to be connected with the e-paradigms one. So this is all from my side. Actually, in conclusion, or in a crux, I want to say that the curriculum of the 21st century need to be highly innovative with concern to the learner's value, because we are valuing to the learners in terms of the learning parameters, and we need to understand to the learners, and we need to not only to the learners, we need to understand the learners, we need to understand the globe, and we need to understand the real context, and we need to determine the curriculum in this 21st century. Thank you, sir. This is all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Jagatji, are you listening?